Hello, I'm Luke Neller, and welcome to Best Replays of the Week. In this episode, we have brothers in Soviet medium tanks, a fierce little scout, and a Top Gun carrying from the bottom tier. Rock and roll! Even the smallest tank can change the course of history. Isaac Newton's AMX 12-ton is the lightest machine on the field, but the enemy should take it very seriously. The Tier 9 battle takes place at Karelia on the EU cluster. Newton makes a beeline for a spotting position and comes under heavy fire right away. That was close, but Sir Isaac is still with us. The AMX spends some time spotting before unloading a magazine on the distant enemies. That 1390 is way too close, and the scout has been spotted. Newton relocates quickly and keeps the enemy lit up for artillery. That works both ways, of course. Ouch! It's time to move closer to the enemies. A rival 12-ton shows itself and gets taken out. There can be only one. Jagdpanther dead ahead. Newton lets the enemy come close before opening fire, and the TD dies in moments. The next target is a Waffenträger at half health. A full clip isn't quite enough to bring it down, and an Allied TD puts in the final shot. 3 enemies to go. The little AMX leads the way, ducking into cover when contact is made. Its little gun struggles to hurt the enemy, but spotting for its allies is the next best thing. And that's it for the match. The last artillery piece is found on the other flank, and the game is over. Galadriel was correct. The smallest tank really can carry the game. Congratulations to the fighting scout. When the matchmaker hands out lemons, the Confederate opens a lemonade stand. Shaka from the Asian server lands in a Tier 10 fight in an IS-3 and decides to make the best of it. The map is Sand River, and there are lots of Tier 10s on the enemy team. Shaka heads east for the central sand dunes and starts engaging the enemies. Land ship, 12 o'clock. Shaka changes position and ends up fighting a top-tier British heavy. APCR ammo proves its worth, and the IS-3 wins the duel without any damage received. The next FV has better aim, and some help from a light tank. But it ends up dead just the same. After the heavies, the T-69 is just a dessert. The ST-1 charges, but Shaka reacts so fast that it only breaks its own track. The enemy gets in a single good hit before Shaka reduces it to smoke and ruin. The rival should have been more careful. Back to the garage with him. 3 enemies left, and they are all Tier 10. Shaka loads the gun with HE and holds the fort, waiting for the allies to arrive. The IS-7 is coming. The HE round fails to stop it, but an ally kills it at the last moment. 2 left. HE does nothing to the mouse, but armor pierces get through its thick hide. The last AP round bounces off the nose of the American heavy. This is the last shell, and it very nearly finishes off the last enemy. Shaka moves forward for a ram or to take a shell for an ally, but it's not needed. Victory by a narrow margin. Wow, talk about punching above your weight. With nearly 7,000 damage, the Confederate was by far the most valuable player on the team. Next we have Base Qatar Panda from the EU region defending the base in an AMX EOC BIS. The game is a standard battle on live oaks, and the EOC is on the middle tier. Panda starts with a classic bush by the bridge. A rival scout causes some trouble, and ultimately the EOC fires just a single shot before heading out. There's an enemy Chito sneaking around. Panda gets several hits on the enemy, but in the end, the friendly arty has to save itself. Panda fights enemies in the distance and doesn't notice a fast enemy SPG infiltrating the base and assassinating the friendly arties. The defender has failed the SPGs, but they can be still avenged. What follows is a strange dogfight between the shoebox arty and the EOC. with Panzer emerging as the winner. The nearly dead TD is finished off with an HE shell, but the overall picture is starting to look grim. The last ally is getting overwhelmed, and there are quite a few enemies left. The ally dies in the distance as Panzer turns to fight the Matilda. The larger tank blows up, but there's still 4 more to deal with. Back in the bush, and just in time. The OI is rumbling onto the bridge, and Panzer needs to kill it before its allies turn up. That took quite a while, and there's a Kappa who needs to be stopped. It turns out to be the KV-1, and it's wide awake. The second attempt goes better, and the cap gets reset from 91. Panzer leaves the KV in the circle and goes hunting for the rest of the team. They are both here. Panzer destroys one and goes back deal with the Kappa for good. Okay, that just leaves the Valentine. The heavily armoured light tank gets a shot in, but the EOC's gun is just too powerful. Victory! The defender's tunnel vision resulted in 2 dead SPGs, but the rest of the game made up for it. Congratulations! In the next replay, Madden 173 and Musketeer 32 join forces to rule the battlefield as brothers in arms. The map is clipped on the North American server, and the platoon is on the top of the pile with their Tier 9 medium tanks. The platoon heads north with the main push, Musketeer gets a little careless, and the cockroach takes serious damage long before meeting any enemies. Womp womp womp. The first victim is a T-49 which dies quickly. A pair of Tier 8 medium tanks and a Tiga follow it to the garage. Musketeer's tank is starting to look a little battered. There's a whole bunch of enemies on and around the mountain, and they all get some love from the platoon. Madden's attempt to help an ally goes badly wrong, but Musketeer claims the kill seconds later. Both players focus their fire on a Jagdtiger, which retreats out of sight. The platoon mates drive down to the lowlands to put pressure onto the enemy's flank. Madden drives the object fearlessly at a pair of heavy tanks, while Musketeer finishes off the AT-7. Allies claim the kill on both heavies, but there's no shortage of enemies just yet. A Tiger Porsche falls to the Wolfpack, with a Type 59 joining in on the excitement. A 59 Patton dies to a lucky full-speed shot, and Madden continues by dismantling an E-50 in a one-on-one duel. The Jagdtiger is also here, killed with a single shot, and with that, the game is suddenly over. It looked like the killing spree could have gone on forever if the platoon didn't run out of enemies. Nice teamwork, you two. In the final replay, we'll see Operation Torch kicking butt and taking names in the T-29. The battle is a Tier 9 encounter on Malinowka, and the match is played on the North American cluster. Heavy tanks often struggle against higher tier machines, so how will Torch carry the game as a top gun? I guess we'll find out. Torch joins the vanguard in assaulting the hill, and puts the gun crew to work. When the dust settles, the hill is clear of enemies and the T-29 has 4 kills to its name. It's also barely holding together with 67 hit points. Torch engages the Leopard and moves to make use of a dead tank for cover. There is no room for mistakes. The T-54 light attacks and is dealt with perfectly. The duel with the Leopard runs long, as both combatants are very cautious. In the end, Torch carries the day. The Waffenträger would only need a single good shot, but a bounce off the turret is all it gets. The AMX's player must have disconnected as it's not moving. The T-28, however, can be penetrated from this angle, and an HE round finishes it off easily. The Borsig doesn't get a chance to shoot, and then all that remains is finishing off the 5100. Victory! Wow, that's an impressive game with a bottom tier heavy, especially with the tank one hit from death for half the game. Well done! That's it for today. Join us next week, but remember to keep sending in your replays. I'm Luke Neller, and thanks for watching.